I was never the loudest person in any room. I didn't chase attention with fancy cars or designer clothes. I never tried to impress anyone with money or titles. What I did have was loyalty, reliability, and heart. And when I met Serena, I honestly thought I'd found someone who valued those same things. We met in a bookstore, of all places. She dropped The Art of War, kind of poetic in hindsight, and I bent down to pick it up for her. She laughed, thanked me, and somehow, a conversation started. It wasn't one of those movie moments with instant sparks, but she had this magnetic confidence about her. Sharp, funny, effortlessly captivating. I was the quieter type, more of an observer, a little awkward maybe. She said that was part of my charm. When we started dating, it felt mutual, real. She'd text me first, call just to say she missed me. She told me I made her feel safe, and I tried to keep it that way. I showed up for her, remembered the small details, stood by her dreams even when my own were falling apart. But over time, something shifted. The first sign came one night out with her friends. I forgot my wallet and told her I'd pay her back later. She laughed and said, "His broke, but he means well." Everyone laughed. I smiled, pretending it didn't sting. But it didn't stop there. She started telling little stories at my expense, how I mispronounced a French word, or wore mismatched socks to a work brunch. She'd laugh it off like it was nothing, but each time, I felt myself shrink a little more. I told myself she didn't mean it, that it was harmless teasing. But deep down, I knew something had changed. Maybe she was losing respect for me, or maybe she never had it to begin with. Then came the night everything fell apart. We were at her best friend Tanya's birthday party. Loud music, packed room, Serena already on her third glass of wine. Someone asked, "So, is this the guy?" Pointing to me. She smirked and said, "This? No, he's just a placeholder until the real one shows up." Everyone laughed. I didn't. I just stood there, stunned, trying to find any hint she was joking, but she wasn't. She took another sip, eyes wandering elsewhere, completely unfazed. I didn't make a scene. I didn't argue. I just gave a small, tired smile, nodded, and walked out. That night, I didn't text her, didn't call, didn't block her. I just stopped. Stopped trying. Stopped explaining. Stopped caring. The next day she texted, "Hey, where'd you go?" Then, "Are you mad?" Then, "Babe, you know I was just joking. Don't be dramatic." I stayed silent. 2 days later, she called 12 times. I still didn't answer. She left voicemails, even came by my apartment once. I watched from behind the curtain as her expression shifted, first puzzled, then angry, then something close to fear. A week later, her messages softened. "I miss you. Please talk to me. I made a mistake. You were always too good for me. I see that now." But by then, I'd already understood something she hadn't yet realized. It wasn't just about her laughing at me. It was about me staying with someone who found my pain amusing. I had been betraying myself long before she ever did. So I moved on, quietly. I started exercising, reading again, spending time with old friends. I stopped wondering if I was ever enough for her, because I finally saw that she had never been enough for me. Months later, we crossed paths at a cafe. She looked startled, maybe even hopeful. "Wow," she said, "you look different." I smiled and told her, "I feel different." She tried to joke, to fall back into old rhythms, but I didn't react. I didn't shrink, didn't reach for the past. I finished my coffee, stood up, and said, "Take care, Serena." Then I walked out. I didn't have to glance back to know. She wasn't smiling anymore. Some people don't grasp the weight of their behavior until the only thing left to answer them is silence. Serena always thought I'd stay, no matter how many times she chipped away at my self-respect with a grin. But when I stopped caring, everything changed. Not from bitterness or a need for payback, but because, for once, I chose myself. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do isn't to argue or prove them wrong. It's to walk away quietly and let your absence speak the truth. And in that silence, she finally heard everything she'd ignored before.